Welcome everybody, this is James with the Simbox Store. Just wanted to do a quick tutorial on button mapping with your button box. So I've had a couple of questions in regards to what you can do when assigning buttons. So kind of first and foremost, we'll go through these tabs here and kind of work through how I've set mine up. So of course, enter, exit, and tow car. I've actually assigned the blue button to that, and it's as simple as just clicking the box, assigning the button by pushing it, and then clicking done. That assigns it. It's complete. So if you're going to be looking left, etc., I actually run those on my steering wheel, so I don't have to take my hands off the wheel to look left, look right out of the different windows, as well as the handbrake. I know people are like, well, you don't use a handbrake on this car. You're right. Anything that's grayed out like that doesn't get utilized with that vehicle. So I highly suggest using custom controls for each vehicle. However, I do utilize that with the Lucas Oil Off-Road Pro Series trucks. So it's definitely needed at times. We're going to actually skip past options for a moment and go over here to controls. So as you notice here, this is where most of the controls are going to be housed that you're going to utilize. So your ignition and your starter. I use the switches that are under the safety covers for that. And then scroll down here to your black box controls. So there again, this is going to be the bulk of what you're going to assign. And for me, I've assigned these to the rotary knobs. So whenever I push in the rotary knob, it will pull up a certain box, whether it's relative, fuel, tires, or the in-car adjustments. In-car adjustments is where the brake bias is housed. So what I've done is I've pushed, once you click this, I've now pushed in the button that I want to assign that, and then that's where my brake bias will be. And then I go up here to brake bias, and it does a whole wizard for you. So increase the value, and I'll turn that, click done, and then decrease the value, turn that, and click done. Then that completes the wizard. And so you'll want to do that with each one of these black boxes that you want to run. And so again, you push the buttons for these different black boxes, and then I've actually set up the rotary knobs to spin to go to the different boxes and then scroll through the different menus as well. And this is all customizable, so you can set this up however you'd like. Now let's actually back up to the options section. Options is where you have auto chat. And so again, whenever normally you see people push buttons that say, pass right, pass left, thanks, pitting in, pitting out, etc. Again, you can assign all these buttons. I've done so with my black buttons. So pit in, pit out, pass left, pass right are all on the black row. And then here's where it really gets cool. So with this button box, you can actually set up the button to perform various functions based on what you need the vehicle to do. So for example, if you want to change all 4 tires, pull a new windshield tear off, and fill it full of fuel, you would need to change this line. And how you do that is just by clicking into the box, and now you can literally edit the text. And so what that looks like is, and we'll just delete this out, is making sure that you start with pound, left front, space, right front, space, left rear, space, right rear, space, windshield tear off, space, fuel, space, and then we're going to fill it up. The car fills up with like 18 point something gallons, 18.7 I believe it is. And so we'll go ahead and just select 20 gallons, and then you need to finish it off with the money sign. You hit enter, and it's good. It's complete. And so that will fill up the vehicle, swap all 4 tires, and pull the windshield. So you can set the same thing up for rights. Right side tires only, windshield tear off, and maybe a half tank of fuel. Because again, the pit stop is set up for you to fill 2 cans of fuel while they swap 4 tires. So if you're only going to swap 2 tires, you're going to make sure that you only do a half of a fuel stop. So you're going to want to do 1 can, which is 9 gallons. We're going to move down here, and so this is more for like a splash and go. And so that's windshield tear off, fuel, 4 gallons. And then here's lefts. So if you're running courses where you've swapped the rights once or twice, or maybe it's just not burning the tires up as much on certain tracks, but you do need to come in for fuel, for example, Daytona, Talladega, etc., where you may utilize multiple stops, and maybe you've used rights on one stop and it's time to now go ahead and just swap lefts, you can do that as well. Last but not least, make sure that you have a clear. And the reason why, and I'll show you kind of when we go into the actual simulator, is you're going to want to clear out any command that you've entered. So if you've entered 4 tires, fuel, 20 gallons, and then you push 2 tires, fuel 9 gallons, it doesn't redirect it. Or if you push 9 and then the 20, again, it doesn't change it. It sticks with what the initial command was. And so you're going to want to clear this out so that then you can utilize whatever you need to be utilizing. Major one is if you select tires and then all of a sudden you decide, no, I don't want any tires, I just want to put fuel in it. It's still going to change tires on you. So you're going to want to make sure that you, number one, enter a command for clear, but number two, you're actually utilizing it. So where I've gotten all these commands from is from boxthislap.org. And I'll put the link in the description so that you can go down and create your own custom ones. But for example, when you go into the the app.ini, and that's in your documents section. And so what that basically looks like is just go to your folder, go to your documents section, you can go to iRacing, and here's your app.ini. And this is basically the notepad that houses everything that is in that options menu. So everything that you adjust, etc., will be basically it commands it into this is running in the background for the game. And so what it's telling you to do in regards to your fast repairs is scroll all the way down here to pit service. And if you set these to 0, then the vehicle, number one, won't start the game with your fast repair checked. And number two, every time you leave the pits, it won't keep trying to reset and check that box again. You won't have to keep fighting it and going back. I race in a league that does allow one fast repair for a race, and so you may have a little bit of beating and banging, and then you forget about it because you're trying to get on pit road during green flag stops, and you forget it fixes your car fast repair. 50 laps later, you get involved in the big one, and now you don't have that left anymore. So I'm utilizing that to be completely turned off until I initiate it. And so just in case you wanted to change that, that's where you can do that. Also, this is a backdoor way, if you will, or a roundabout way of where you can actually change those commands. And so you see all of that here in the auto chat messages. However, it's much, much easier to just utilize the menus right here in iRacing, again, because you can just click anywhere and edit it. So I strongly suggest just using it this way. Let's go into the simulator and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So here we are, we're in the vehicle, and we will initiate the ignition, then the starter. All right. And so we'll just pull out of the pit so that I can kind of show you what this thing will do whenever you start to push some of the command buttons. And so again, it kind of auto defaults onto my relative. That's just how mine is always set up. However, again, if I wanted to just adjust the brake bias, I'm going to push in that rotary encoder, go straight to my bias, and then I just start turning right or left, which is a plus or minus of 3, and that's the max that you're allowed for an in-car adjustment. If I want to completely remove the black box altogether, then you just push that button again and it goes away, of course. So again, relative is usually what I have pulled up. But if I wanted to take a look at my fuel, I can push the fuel button there, which again is assigned to a rotary encoder, and then there's one for tires. Okay, so let's go back to fuel for a second, and let's say that we wanted to come in just for a splash and go. So I'll hit the button for splash and go. There's my 4 gallons. The command is at the top of the screen. Windshield tear off fuel, 4 gallons. Of course, you see 3.4 down here. That's just because that's what the increments are in iRacing. So you can do 5.1 or 3.4. It's not going to do exactly 4. So if I assigned it 5, then it would be less than 5.1, and it would still default to 3.4. So just make sure that if you're wanting to get that extra couple of gallons, that you choose an incremental number that's above it. So again, here's 6.8, so what you might just choose is 6 in order to get the 5.1. It's all based on what you want the vehicle to do. So now that I've assigned the 2 gallons, okay, let's switch over here to tires, and I'm going to pick 4 tires and fuel. But now, if we go back over, we're full of fuel. Great. Let's say that, oh, I changed my mind again. I want to go back to just a splash and go. I select the splash and go. Here's my splash. When I go back to tires, the tires are still checked. That's why you need the clear button. So again, I assign that to my yellow button. Push clear. Everything wipes out now. My fuel is unchecked, although it's still defaulting to 3.4, it's unchecked. The windshield tear-off is unchecked, and you see the fast repair was sitting at unchecked anyway. Of course, it's 0, but never mind that. Just understand that because that was deactivated, it wouldn't be checked in the beginning of the race anyway, or whenever you leave the pits. So let's say, okay, hard racing and short yellow flag, so short green stint, if you will. We're going to just take right side tires. So right front, right rear, windshield tear off, fuel 9 gallons. So 9 gallons gives us the 8.5, because again, that's what it allows. And here's our windshield tear off. Then we'll go back to the tires. Look, only right side tires. Okay, and then the 9 gallons. There again, if I change my mind and I want to go 4 tires, it'll give me the 4 tires. But the moment I go over to fuel, it's full. Go back to rights, it's 8.5. Look, 4 tires again. So just be cautious of that you're going to want to hit clear in between these actions. Okay, so let's try this out here. Get the car going, get it up to speed here. Caution out, okay, barely run. This is Dover, you know, it's a really abrasive track, so we're going to want to swap out right sides only. So we're just going to pick rights. Get slow down here. I got shown a hack the other day at Dover. I think you can put it in 4th and just let it idle. And it'll do 35, 36. I'm not touching the throttle. I'm not touching anything, as you can see from my input over here. But 4th gear, and it'll just pull it along at pace speed, or pit road speed, basically. So a little bit of a hack for you. And we're going to pull in. It should be right sides only. 1 tank of fuel. Of course, it's going to stop filling the moment that it's all the way filled up. So we didn't burn near enough fuel to the whole can, but you get the point. And so here I'll show you what it looks like. I'm just going to immediately come back around here. I'm going to pick 4 tires full of fuel, and then I'm going to pick my splash without hitting clear. Again, we'll just select that to let it pull us through. And see, again, as we hit the splash, it's still showing my tires. So it's going to replace all 4 until you hit clear. Clear it all out, then get your splash of fuel and your windshield tear off. So we'll just move over to the window, or the black box. You can see that selections there. Just gotta put a little bit of fuel in. Go! And we're good. Well, I hope that helped. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Other than that, thank you very much for joining. I appreciate it.